you can see that as Roblox has gotten bigger, 1.5 million times bigger, we're now in the forefront of all kinds of societal discussions. There is enormously fun and interesting things ahead for the Roblox community. We'd love to hear what they have to contribute and keep building on this.
Good day, Robloxians of the world, and welcome back to Creators on the Blox, a podcast dedicated to learning more about creators in the community. I'm your host, Pixelpug, and today I am joined by Builderman, also known as the CEO and founder of Roblox, David Baszucki. Yeah, I know. I'm recording this recording this after to put before the podcast because I feel like there's some important context I need to give before you watch this episode. So please consider watching this part real quick before we get into it. This, yes, I know, happened so out of the blue. It's because I made a post on Twitter. He saw it, he was interested, and he just wanted to talk about Roblox, state of Roblox, all these different stuff surrounding, right? Purely to talk to the community. And that's what this is all about, right? This podcast is for the community, by the community. So I wanted him on the show to address the community, right? To learn some about him, but also mainly to voice concerns and questions that the community may have with a lot of stuff going on in Roblox at the moment. So I was only given 30 minutes, all right? 30 minutes. There's a very busy schedule, so they were able to give me 30 minutes. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, but do note that this interview might feel a little rushed at times just because I was trying to get everything in, right? There was just not a lot of time, and there was a lot to cover. I also want to stress that I am not a reporter. I am not a journalist. I am not a professional whatsoever. I am some random person in the middle of nowhere who does YouTube videos and had the chance to interview this CEO of Roblox, right? It's mind-blowing, baffling, so I'm sorry if I didn't do the best I could. I wish I had more time, or I know, there's so many things that could have gone differently, but at the end of the day, it didn't. That's all right. The interview happened, super grateful for it, but just keep that in mind when watching, all right? I tried to get all the concerns I had in mind, all the questions people had, right? And presented it to David. So, yeah. Please enjoy the episode. This is a quick one, but obviously a big one. I appreciate all your love and support, and thank you so much for watching. Mr. David Baszucki, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Before we start, we got something up here on the wall.
Oh, you found my yearbook photo.
Yes, we did. The community needs to know, like, what is the context to that photo?
Well, your office looks great, by the way. So
thank you.
There's a little context here because I worked so hard in school. I studied electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and computer science. I was always really interested in the mix of it. And back then it was, they didn't even call it computer science. They called it electrical engineering. And we worked on both computers at Stanford as well as literally motors at the same time. And in my senior year, I had worked so hard for all 4 years that in spring quarter, I finally had a really light spring quarter. And
Yeah.
it just been like so much work for 4 years. And then spring quarter, I had 2 or 3 lighter weight classes. And I was feeling a little free after all of that 4 years of intense academic stuff. We were, a lot of friends around. And so when it was time to take my yearbook photo, a couple of friends and I just said, hey, go take a funny yearbook photo. So,
there you go.
So I went and took a funny yearbook photo, and in a funny way, in like a really authentic way, I guess it started popping up a bit.
It did, yeah. Somebody posted like the whole section there, and you were noticeably the most dapper out of everyone, that's for sure. All right, so lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
I'm here on behalf of the community, as a voice of the community. But let's dive right on into it, shall we?
What's on your mind? Where should we dive in?
Well, let's actually start with this. So you and the platform have come a long way. Obviously, it's changed a lot. And as a little bit of a checkpoint, are you happy with where the platform is now, or do you feel like there's still more to improve?
We could ask the same question 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or 20 years ago,
Mhm.
and both grateful, so fulfilled, happy about the amazing community, happy about what everyone's building, but in a way, knowing how much more we could do, you could say I'm both happy and not happy at the same time because I do feel we're just getting started, and I feel maybe for some of the people that have been on Roblox for a long time,
Mhm.
they might have picked up a little bit of a vibe of where we're trying to go with this. And
Yeah.
as people who are in the community and creators who've seen year by year by year the direction of where we're
Mhm.
going, I'm hopeful they can extrapolate that we're both grateful and at the same not there yet. Like the gaming market is enormous, right? And then the market beyond that, which is how do people stay connected? Do we end up with a holodeck? Do we end up with 3D communication rather than phone and video communication? Is really going to be interesting. And I have young people in our family that no longer live close by. The ability to have a very authentic, maybe communication with them is someday very fascinating to me. So there is enormously fun and interesting things ahead for the Roblox community. We'd love to hear what they have to contribute. And we'd like to put together the ideas of the community and our crazy, wacky sci-fi vision and keep building on this.
Absolutely. I've been playing this game for more than half of my life, believe it or not, and it's been a big part of my life. And yeah, I've met so many amazing people because of this platform and community, and I'm eternally grateful. Now, when you first started, did you ever expect it to go to the scale it is today?
No, we've in a way, one of our values is get stuff done. One of our values is take the long view. And in a way, when we started the company, we happened to have both of those things at the same time. There's some original business plan slides we have that are somewhat audacious because in these business plan slides, when it was four of us in an office, Shadletsky, Dusek, Erik, and myself, we were analyzing the history of communication and the history of storytelling, and we were saying, okay, gaming is really cool, right? There's like EverQuest, and things are starting to get multiplayer, and Valve Half-Life is just coming out, and
Mm.
so gaming's at this forefront of 3D connection. And then there's like YouTube. Oh my gosh, like UGC is coming along. And
Mm.
then there's, if you can believe it, many people may not even know there was this thing called Friendster and MySpace before Facebook. Like these things were coming out, and so social connection is big. And we had a business plan slide where we said in the middle of this there could be a new category, which is at the time we called it immersive 3D connection, kind of borrowing from gaming 3D, borrowing from YouTube, UGC, borrowing from Facebook, social connection. And we hypothesized about this new category when it was four of us and we were trying to raise a little money. We had this slide. And so that part has been very consistent.
Mhm.
But I would say along the way, it's just been many, 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 many small steps. Version
Yeah.
one, when we started, virtual worlds for young people were hot. Neopets and Club Penguin, like, that's what was in on the market. Today, fast forward to where we are, and we're talking the metaverse and world models and AI and all of that. So the where we are has shifted, but the vision's been somewhat consistent.
Yeah. Um, I mean, that does bring up an interesting point, right? It is noticeable where Roblox is heading. And I'm kind of curious. I want to hear your take. There has been a noticeable like concern from their community because we've seen that the old Roblox kind of had this undeniable charm and like kind of freedom and fun to it. But recently we've had like friends turn into connections. games turn into experiences. Badges were just removed from players, which is understandable. They weren't doing anything, but like some argue that it could have been changed into something else. So we're just wondering, why is it moving towards this more quote unquote professional or corporate slate rather than how Roblox used to be? What's your take on that?
That's a really good one because there was going back historically, I was just talking to Stickmaster Luke yesterday. He's been on the platform forever. And we were talking about when it was early on, the four of us in that office, we would go on Roblox every day for hours. And at times there were only 100 people on. And, Stealth Pilot was there and B Spurl was there and all of these people that were on in the very first year. Mm-hmm. And what you said is really true. That was a wide open frontier. People were making friends, connecting. The community was very passionate. I remember the day we launched Roblox Studio. The community, oh my gosh, we knew we were on to something. I guess I would share with the community that those memories are still very bright in our mind. We are really pushing for that vision of freedom in a way for people to meet people who may end up being great friends. And I would say at the same time, what you're sharing with us has to be very gently thought about. And we have, it's not really an excuse, but I'll share that very early on, the Roblox community from day one had this incredible passion about the quality of the product and the architecture. In the early days when we had forums, and we, for example, changed our logo from the more kiddie logo, that Mike Rayhawk designed to the more generic one. We felt we had to do it to be a little bit more of a platform, but the community outrage was manifest. Like we heard a lot from the community, and the forums when they were around would light up on everything. So I think I would say you can see that as Roblox has gotten bigger and as we've moved from 100 concurrents to 150 million concurrents. So as we've gotten 1.5 million times bigger than in those early days, we're now in the forefront of all kinds of societal discussions. What is freedom, child safety, which everyone wants, governments evaluating platforms like this, a wide range of parents and kids. And so I would say we are doing our absolute best to balance that initial vision. Friends to connections. I'll share right now, one of the thinking behind that sounds more corporate for a small subset of society or a less understanding subset of society, thinking of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person in my family has a friend with this person they've never met in the real world. For some parts of our society, like that's hard to get their heads around. And so we do have to balance our current community with a growing community of 1 billion. So not trying to make an excuse. We do understand and want to stay true to that original vision. And I do read a lot of the feedback on X and what comes in, and we're trying to balance it.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of current day Roblox, let's dive into some little subcategories here that I have had in mind. First off, let's start with Roblox Events. Roblox Events is a big part of the platform. Personally, and for a lot of people, shout out to a gunting community. I don't know if you're aware, there is a whole community of people, Gunting Grounds, Roblox discussion, of like people who are dedicated to these events and complete them whenever they come out immediately. So we just want to say on behalf of the community, very eternally grateful for you bringing back Roblox Events. Thank you so much. Please don't take away again. We really appreciate them. And now that they're back, just got some, little questions about them, right? So for one, I gotta say, I've heard this a lot too. One of the most liked recent events of the modern era of Roblox events has to be the Hunt Mega Edition. I mean, that the format, the idea of each game having one normal little badge and then one secret hidden quest, that's amazing. So I'm just wondering, is there any plans on another event of that type? And in general, what's the future of Roblox events?
We're so events, as you correctly note, have gone through oscillations,
Hmm.
and I'll share once again a historical thing, just because I know we have a lot of community members. For those who were in the first egg hunt, we really did some crazy stuff. Like in the very first egg hunt, we went and said, you know what? I don't care if you've made your own experience or you're a creator. For a few hours, we're going to modify the join code and we're going to like,
Drop them everywhere. Yeah.
we are going to make Egg Hunt everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, in a future platform, like if we imagine Roblox as a future platform supporting a bigger and bigger chunk of the gaming market, and if we could imagine someday on Roblox, there's going to be a really big RPG. There's going to be new types of games like we've never seen before, which are happening on the platform. There may be a really popular battle royale. There may be, you name it. We can't do that kind of stuff. Like we have to give the developers autonomy. So we
Mhm.
went down the path really of doing events for a while. We hoped, I think, is the word, because we're so much believers in UGC and community. We had hoped in a way, are we ready? And we saw some beautiful events made by the community, not maybe as many as we would want, but some beautiful ones.
Mhm.
And so we about a year and a half ago said, let's resurrect and like let's put our brand onto this. And
Mhm.
as you mentioned, we've seen a lot of them. I would share where we are right now, my own hope. What are all the, it would be lovely if what are all the pieces the community needs to make more events, on their own almost. And so we've seen this coming egg hunt, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure where we're going to be on the economy in time for this event, but I do think the whole notion, if the community makes an event, how can they give out items? That be free? All of that. We do have to do some thinking around that, because if that is a lever for a community event, it probably doesn't really mix up our economy too much. It's probably an accelerant. So I would say stay tuned as we evaluate what are the APIs, the tooling, the economics. Ultimately, it would be so much powerful if we had a wide range of community events in addition to what we make. And I think that goes along the notion of the day we released Roblox Studio, we accepted the reality that the community can make better stuff than we can.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a fun way to
I
put
mean,
it,
for
but
those of you that remember Crossroads and Chaos Canyon, the days the day Roblox Studio was released, we saw better content than that.
wow. Wow. I mean, yeah. Um, by the community for the community, as they say. But that's exciting. We're hoping for, more, as I said, with the Hunt Mega Edition, more events like that would be awesome. But of course, it's cool to see what you guys come up with. That's for sure. It's just exciting.
Yeah,
And then of course, oh, hello. Oh, there we go. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
As you said, you did bring up a good point. Community ran events. Yeah, there is, of course, there a lot of back and forth saying like, okay, it would be awesome to have some help with that. And as you said, I feel like some of the main factors I've heard is just that event page on the site. Just help from Roblox in general, support, and then of course, yeah, the event items being official.
I think having we're trying to be as transparent as we can on recommendations and discovery.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a philosophical view on discovery where a lot of the social media platforms out there are a little opaque or you can't tell how they're doing
Mm,
discovery. I do feel the future for Roblox is as transparent as possible. So we don't want to be editors as much as we would like to be platform creators. We are, I think having the ability for events to show up in discovery, side by side recommendations for individual experiences based on the contribution to the long term fun value of the platform, all of that, it's
mhm.
how we're thinking about discovery. So I think that's not out of the question to someday envision user created events with an event, destination or hub, and that, in real time can become front and center in a way.
So, real quick then, to wrap up this little part, the two community events that has been most commonly talked about is 15's new egg hunt and then RB Battles Season 4. So, just real quick, is there any interest at all in helping or supporting those events?
I think yes, 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 absolutely. From a messaging, broadcast, social media thing, the engineer in me goes straight to the technical support. And so for me, there's a lot of metaphors about the types of help you give. Do you give one-time help? Or do you build the APIs, infrastructure, and systems so you learn about how to help not just this event, but all subsequent events? And I think that's like when we mention how do we give out free items for an event, that
Mhm.
is an example. If we solve it for this event, we can solve it for all future events as well. So absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Very understandable. So let's move on to UGC real quick. UGC was implemented 2019. It has definitely changed Roblox. I remember when it dropped, it was a big deal. Um, and yeah, it has evolved a lot over the years. But when UGC became public, right, a lot happened. There you go. So for one, I think the biggest concern right now with UGC that I just want to bring up to you is UGC creators are fearful because there seems to be a lot of incidents of other people re-uploading, stealing, and profiting off of their creations, right? And that results in a lot of money loss. And then they try to DMCA them, and that results in, unfortunately, most of the time nothing, as I've saw, because they are able to make fake information and then it's approved. So I'm just wondering, is there any action that you guys can, ensure to protect these UGC creators from having their work stolen?
This is a super great question and super
Mhm.
thoughtful and super complicated at the same time. I want to share though a bit of the high level vision, a couple touch points. So one is in the one way we think about things when we're trying to invent things is think about the physical world where we have laws that have evolved over hundreds of years, and then think about why is digital so different than the physical world, and try to wrap our head around how much of the physical world applies and then how much of the physical world doesn't apply. And so what's interesting is in the physical world, some things do apply. In the physical world, when we go down to our neighborhood store or go on Amazon or whatever, we do have a wide range of IP, trademark, copyright type legal framework
Mhm.
in the physical world. But in the physical world, we always joke about a plain white cotton t-shirt. To make a plain white cotton t-shirt, it costs money. Like there's friction in creating a plain white cotton t-shirt. And so no matter where I go, when I go to Target, the plain white cotton t-shirts are not free. Like someone had to manufacture them and do that. What's interesting in the digital world is a lot of those things still apply, trademark, copyright, all of that. But arguably, manufacturing costs can be almost zero because these are digital items. I can share the high level vision of where I think this is going to go. As much as possible for trademark, copyright, IP, we protect like the physical world. So if there's a Pixel Pug logo and it's on a t-shirt,
Mhm.
like no one else should be selling that t-shirt.
Right.
Like we want to help you scan for it, DMCA it, all of that. If there's a plain white t-shirt, then I think where we're going is it may be hard to use trademark copyright law, but if we start to detect like that's really just a downloaded mesh per mesh copy, I would say stay tuned because we're looking into that. And that's not as much, I would say, lawyers can get on and correct me if whatever. That may be less of a copyright IP trademark infringement, but it may be more in some way a way we can detect just a lazy copy of a 3D object. And we are looking into protecting for that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, my Zoom meeting has 7:30 left. 6 minutes 30 seconds left.
We can
It's
always do lightning round if you want. Like
all
chug,
right.
chug, chug, chug,
Yeah,
chug.
yeah. All right, let's do that for this next segment because the one after that is very important. So I want to leave as
Yeah.
much time as possible. For this next segment, quick one. Old Roblox. I'm not sure if you're aware, there's a whole community around archiving old Roblox because the platform grows bigger and bigger, the past is becoming more and more obscure, and they want to prevent that. So I guess what I'm wondering, just to throw some names out there, like Toasted Cherries, Dyna Broth, Voxelized Bits, Client Shirts, Search. Shout out to those guys. Prior to Roblox's 2006 release, what do you think are the biggest cut features that could have completely changed the trajectory of the platform if they hadn't been removed?
Okay, prior to 2006, so when I look at in retrospect at maybe the 2006 to 2010 timeframe
Hmm.
and just say, thank goodness we did it. Behind the scenes, they sound kind of boring. One is 100% cloud auto sharding. Literally, whether you have two players or 2 million or 24 million, it's going to happen automatically. That's really come to fruition in 2025 as we saw, bursts beyond 20 million.
Hmm.
So I think that decision was right. Another one is don't bifurcate the platform. Like always have that same experience run PC, Mac, iOS, Android, Xbox, PlayStation, you know, Android, Amazon, MetaQuest, and yes, hopefully Nintendo Switch someday. Hopeful. I just said hopeful.
Hopefully,
So
yeah.
never bifurcate. Another decision is keep the APIs stable. Don't, keep like the DOS prompt. If I built a game, this is very difficult, but if I built something 6 months ago, hopefully it works when we release. We
Hmm.
can't promise for 20 years, but hopefully it works. So, there's many, many more of these things that thank goodness we did them. And behind the scenes, I'm not naming the platforms that have not followed those simple rules. But every single platform I can think of there are some of those rules it has not followed.
Oh yeah. Well, let's go to the most important part of this episode, right? And it's safety. All right. As the community, we have seen more and more problems, and it's concerning, right? It's upsetting to see the stigma is just getting worse and worse, and we see some right. We see action being taken, which we are appreciative of, but there's just still so much that we still feel like there needs fixing, right? For one, AI moderation. Roblox heavily relies on AI moderation, and there's been stuff of people being wrongfully terminated and stuff being overlooked. And then the AI age estimation update, which just came out. So we're just curious: is there any plans, like why AI specifically? Why so heavily on that with moderation? And is there any plans to kind of fine tune that?
So one, yeah, I feel the pain. Like I see the emails and I get emails and feedback from the community. We're definitely not perfect on this. We are getting better and better and better and better all the time. I think the way to share it is maybe a bit around where we think this is going to get to. And I'll talk about AI moderation first, and then we can dive into some other things. You are correct in noting that we have tended to go in a more conservative direction. And there's like, when people get into moderation, there's things like false positive, false negative, all of that. And we have done that in the name of leaning a bit more to safety. But you are right. Every once in a while, we get it wrong. please reach out to us. We want to repair it. We are not perfect, but we do believe that this is going to get better and better and better. And the other thing is, when we make a moderation miss, the public's very sensitive to that. You know, if three people can take a screenshot of someone spray painting someone in something in Roblox, and that's three people out of 150 million daily actives, and that screenshot gets amplified by social media in a certain way at times, that can be viewed by a million people, and a million people can say, oh my gosh, look what's on Roblox. So in a way, we respect and accept that. And we know we want to go even beyond that. Where we're going to go is continuous refining of the AI. And the reason is humans, what we ultimately will be doing in a fully Roblox vision aligned way, a legal way, a privacy safe way, a respecting of everyone, is moving to the point where in real time we're able to understand what's going on. And in real time, we'll be able to do arguably non-draconian, hey, by the way, you probably shouldn't spray paint that on the wall. Someone might see it. Are you chill erasing it? That'd probably be good, and nudge in that direction. I'm optimistic that's where we're going to get to. And so with age estimation, I'm also optimistic that over time we are going to get better and better at that, and at all of the signals coupled with what we've called this gold standard, that this will always be something we work on, just like we work on dynamic translation. But very early on, dynamic translation was a new thing, and people are wondering where's the end state. I think we're
Zoom cut us off. There was a time limit to the meeting for some reason because I don't have the pro version. I'm sorry. Anyways, back to the interview. We came back and we finished the last few minutes. Here we go. All right. Okay. Yes, I'm so sorry. We had a Zoom interruption, but we're back here with David. I'm sorry. As you were saying, with AI moderation.
I feel ultimately at the scale we want to get to, and the quality we want to get to, and the thoroughness we want to get to, not with just 150 million DAUs, but a future vision of we want to get to 1 billion daily actives. That scale will need both humans and AI to operate at real time. And we will continuously refine the AI, both on age estimation, content, and all of that. And you'll just see as the technology becomes possible, you'll see us never stop in advancing that.
All right. Well, lastly, with with everything going on with Roblox, right? With the banning in countries, with the articles of the allegations of silencing, with stuff with Discord and all these lawsuits, right? What can you say to the community regarding safety with what is, actively being done to help solve this issue with predators and just safety in general?
Yeah, I would say thank you to the community. It's our top priority. We will never quit. It's where I focus a huge portion of my time. We both respect what an amount of work it is, but we also feel it's an amazing opportunity to show our level of commitment and innovation and build the best platform in the world, and we'll never stop.
Before we end here, back for the old Roblox just real quick, so I won't take much more of your time. But
speaking of old Roblox, I wore my old Roblox logo for the community.
I love that. I was about to say that is an awesome vest. Real quick, two quick things. Would you consider releasing more unseen screenshots, videos, or old places or clients from pre-2006 that others may not have seen yet?
Stay tuned on this. Next week, many of our teams are doing what we call Hack Week here, which is a creative week. A lot of our teams are actually working through Hack Week on some big projects. I'm working with one of the teams on Hack Week to catalog all of the old stuff we have from Roblox over the last 20 years. So I'll talk to them about, is there some way to release it? I literally, an hour ago, I was looking through some RBXL XML text files of some of the very first Roblox places from 20 years ago.
Wow. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That would make a lot of people very, very happy. That's for sure. Well, Mr. Baszucki, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave the community with before we depart?
It's so fun to do a podcast with someone who really understands where we're going. It's very different than the news and others. And also, I know how much work it is to prep for a podcast like this. So thank you for your thoughts, and great to say hi to the community. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. To end it off, can you by chance say, we'll see you around the blocks?
We'll see you around the blocks. This is Dave Baszucki, Builderman.
And I'm Pixelpug. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.